Today, let's delve into the reflections of a 75-year-old American gentleman on his experiences in later life. His story, while deeply personal, resonates with many seniors across the United States and other Western countries. It's a narrative that underscores the complexities of aging, even when one has seemingly done everything right in life. A life of hard work and family success. Born in the late 1940s, this gentleman and his wife both graduated from technical colleges and secured stable jobs in government-run factories. They dedicated their lives to their work, raising two children along the way. Their son attended a prestigious university in New York and eventually became a high-ranking executive in a multinational corporation. He married a woman from Europe, and they settled abroad with their child. Their daughter, equally ambitious, graduated from a reputable college in California, married a colleague, and established a comfortable life in San Francisco. With their children thriving and a decent pension to rely on, the couple looked forward to a peaceful retirement. They traveled extensively, visiting national parks, historical sites, and enjoying the diverse landscapes of the country. Neighbors often remarked on their good fortune, and for a time, life was indeed fulfilling. The sudden shift, health challenges, and isolation. However, life took an unexpected turn when his wife began experiencing chest discomfort. Initially dismissing it as a minor ailment, they were devastated to learn it was late-stage lung cancer. Hospital visits became frequent, and the once strong woman rapidly declined. Despite their children's success, they couldn't be present due to their own family and work commitments. The daughter managed a brief visit, but responsibilities back home demanded her attention. The son, living overseas, could only offer support through phone calls and financial assistance. Market watch. After months of battling the illness, his wife passed away at home. He held her hand, whispering reassurances about their children's love and the challenges of modern life that kept them away. The house, once filled with laughter and activity, now echoed with silence. Navigating life alone. Post his wife's passing, his children suggested he move in with them. However, the idea of uprooting his life, adapting to new environments, and potentially feeling like a burden deterred him. He chose to stay in his familiar home, believing he could manage independently. But reality soon set in. A severe bout of the flu left him bedridden. Attempting to reach his phone, he fell and lay on the floor for hours until a concerned niece checked in and called for help. The incident highlighted the vulnerabilities of aging alone. Efforts to hire live-in caregivers proved challenging. Some were unreliable, others incompatible. A stint in a nursing home was equally disheartening. The environment felt impersonal, the food unappetizing, and the staff overwhelmed. He longed for the comfort of his own home, despite its solitude. The emotional toll of loneliness. Even with a stable pension and occasional visits from family, the emotional weight of loneliness became overwhelming. He yearned for simple interactions, a shared meal, a conversation, someone to watch TV with. The absence of daily companionship took a toll on his mental and physical health. Research supports his experience. According to the University of Michigan Medical School, 33% of older adults reported feeling lonely in 2024, a rate consistent with previous years. Loneliness has been linked to increased risks of heart disease, stroke, and dementia. It's not just an emotional issue, but a significant public health concern. Business Insider. +2. University of Michigan Medical School. +2. University of Michigan Medical School. +2. Allura. Reflections and advice for others. Reflecting on his journey, he offers insights for others approaching or experiencing similar phases of life. Consider aging in place. If health permits, staying in one's own home can provide comfort and familiarity. However, it's essential to ensure safety measures are in place and to have a support system for emergencies. Assess living with family carefully. While moving in with children might seem appealing, it's crucial to consider the dynamics and potential challenges. Open communication about expectations and boundaries is vital. Be cautious with caregivers. Hiring help can be beneficial, but it's essential to vet caregivers thoroughly. Compatibility and trust are paramount. Seek companionship wisely. While finding a new partner can alleviate loneliness, It's essential to ensure the relationship is based on mutual respect and understanding, not just convenience. Protect financial independence. Maintaining control over one's finances ensures autonomy and reduces the risk of exploitation. It's advisable to consult with financial advisors and have clear plans for the future. A broader perspective. His story is not unique. Many seniors face similar challenges, feeling isolated despite having family and financial resources. Society must recognize and address the emotional and physical needs of its aging population. Community programs, regular check-ins, and fostering intergenerational connections can make a significant difference. Retirement living. As we reflect on his experiences, it's a poignant reminder of the importance of empathy, understanding, and proactive support for our elders. Aging is an inevitable part of life, and with collective effort, we can ensure it's a journey marked by dignity, connection, and care. If this narrative resonates with you or someone you know, consider reaching out, sharing, and fostering conversations about the realities of aging. Together, we can build a more inclusive and supportive community for our seniors. Let me tell you a story, one that may feel both familiar and unsettling, about a man named John Miller, 50 years old, the youngest of 4 siblings, and his 83-year-old mother, Margaret Miller. It's a tale of unconditional love, unspoken burdens, and the bittersweet truths of growing old, both hers and his. 1. The weight of the familiar. I'm John. All my life I've been proud to call Margaret Mom. She was the rock of our family, a spirited woman who raised 4 children on her own after Dad passed away young. She scrubbed every shirt until it shone, stitched every patch with loving care, and managed a household on a modest teacher's salary. Even our ragged hand-me-downs looked like they'd been tailored from the finest cloth. Now, in my mid-50s, I live just a few blocks from her small ranch-style home in suburban Ohio. Most days I think, is it a blessing that I can still call her mom? Or a burden that I'm the one who must? Some people would tell you, to have a living parent at your age is a gift beyond measure. Others would grumble, by the time you hit 50, you've got a career and a life of your own. Who needs the extra work of tending to mom and dad? Both reactions come from the same human tendency. We idealize what we once had and resent what we now carry. 2. Watching time carve its mark. Margaret used to be vigorous, leading neighborhood beautification projects, teaching Sunday school, organizing bake sales. She could whip up a stew from nothing more than potatoes and dried beans that rivaled any 5-star restaurant's comfort food. Kids from 3 blocks away would line up for her famous Miller meatloaf. Today, I find her in the kitchen wearing an apron streaked with yesterday's stains, carefully dropping peas onto the counter instead of into the pot. When I gently remind her, she beams a sheepish smile, her front teeth missing, her eyes shining with that same mischievous twinkle. She looks like a child caught with her hand in the cookie jar, so unlike the stern disciplinarian who once chased us through the yard with a willow switch. She sometimes forgets to wash her hands before dinner, and more than once I've found her soiled plate smeared across her lap. She scolds my older brother, Michael, for fussing too much. "Stop nagging, I'm fine," she snaps, yet remains silent, stoic, as Michael's voice echoes in the empty kitchen. It's heartbreaking to see such a formidable woman reduced to this state by time's relentless passage. As William Shakespeare quipped, age cannot wither her, nor custom stale her infinite variety, but I feel as though those lines mock our reality rather than illuminate it. 3. 3 cruel truths of aging. There are 3 universal cruelties that I've come to recognize in watching my mother's decline, each one unavoidable, each one wrenching. 3.1. Powerless where you once reigned. Mom survived a stroke 5 years ago. Her speech slurs, her hearing falters. Conversations that once lasted hours now fizzle after a few muddled sentences. To have something to say and be unable to articulate it, to know exactly what you want and have your hands tremble as you try, is a torment few of us can fathom. Once she chased mice out of our barn with nothing but a broom. Now she points angrily at the buzzing flies, tears welling in her eyes, and complains. I used to catch the rats bare-handed. The other day I watched her, frail and determined, swing at a fly and miss. She sighed, I can't even swat a fly, and I felt as though a sword pierced my heart. In youth, we're full of vigor and certainty. In old age, simple tasks become gargantuan. To be incapable of what once came effortlessly, that is the deepest kind of sorrow. 3.2. From belle of the ball to barely recognizable. There was a time when my mother was the belle of every town picnic. Neighbors whispered about her sunflower bright hair, her easy laughter, her graceful carriage. Now those golden locks have thinned to silver whisks. Her face is a topography of wrinkles. Dentures, often ill-fitting, make her speech awkward, her smiles tentative. My friend Linda Peterson, much like Margaret in her heyday, used to model in local fashion shows. Last summer, we ran into her at Trader Joe's. She shuffled along with a walker, her back stooped, her once vibrant wardrobe replaced by elastic waistbands and velour tracksuits. I barely recognized her. Time spares no one. The beauty we parade in our youth becomes, in the end, a bittersweet memory, like a sunset that lingers only in our hearts. As George Bernard Shaw wrote, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. But what if the body simply refuses to play anymore? 3.3. The slow retreat of those we love. Perhaps the cruelest blow of all is how, as our parents fade, the world itself seems to drift away. Family gatherings shrink. Friends stop calling as often. In youth, the world bursts with color and connections. In old age, every phone call becomes a rare treasure. My siblings, Michael, David, and Sarah, all have their own busy lives, careers, spouses, grandkids of their own. They love Mom dearly, but time is a finite resource. David, an attorney in Chicago, can only make it home once every 3 months. Sarah, juggling kindergarten and her own aging in-laws, sends photos and checks but seldom sits by Mom's side. I remember when we were kids, we clung to Mom like barnacles on a ship's hull. Now, in her twilight, she clings to us. When I ask if she wants me to drive her somewhere, she simply says, I just want someone to talk to. And yet the hours between one visit and the next stretch into emptiness, an echoing reminder that life moves on. For the invisible loss of purpose. Before retirement, Mom's world was brimming with purpose, teaching, volunteering, mentoring. As Viktor E. Frankl observed, a person's primary drive is the will to meaning, and she lived that every day. But after she could no longer volunteer, could no longer drive her bridge club to the community center, the world she knew collapsed. She told me once, when I was busy, I had no time to feel old. Now that I have time, I don't know what to do with myself. She spends hours in front of the television, flicking channels, as if hoping to stumble upon something that will remind her she still matters. But the more she searches, the more she feels like a spectator in her own life. This is the hidden tragedy of aging. Even if you're surrounded by pictures and memories, without a sense of purpose, every day can feel like a relentless march toward nothingness. 5. Finding a way forward. Despite the sorrow, my siblings and I have learned a few lessons. Hard-won insights that have helped us and perhaps can help you navigate the final chapters of a loved one's story. Create a safety net at home. Rather than rush Mom into a facility she hates, we installed emergency alert buttons, removed loose rugs, and rearranged furniture to minimize fall risks. A bit of preparation can keep her safe without sacrificing the comfort of her own home. Balance visits with boundaries. We set up a rotating schedule. Each sibling commits one afternoon a week. It's not enough to fill all her hours, but it ensures she's never entirely alone. It also prevents any one of us from burning out. Encourage small joys. Mom still lights up when she gardens, so we planted raised window boxes for her. She may not plant marigolds anymore, but she loves watching the basil sprout. Even tiny victories, watering one pot, picking a handful of herbs, give her a glimmer of pride. Invite purpose wherever it's found. Mom can't mentor crafts groups anymore, but she loves telling stories. We arranged for a local elementary class to interview her about her childhood. The kids laughed at her tales of ration coupon cooking. She returned home that day radiant, with a new sense of being needed. Preserve dignity above all. When a caregiver arrives, sporadically, for a few hours each week, we introduce them as a friend who's helping Mom, not an invading stranger. We ask mom's opinions on how things should be done. Her autonomy is fragile. Protecting it gives her strength. 6. Reflections on what truly matters. There's an old adage often misattributed to Mark Twain. Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. But for many of our elders, the mind and body do matter, and deeply so. Their struggle is not merely against physical decline, but against invisibility, against the slow evaporation of the value they once brought to the world. My mother taught me to stand tall, to meet challenges head on, and to find warmth in simple pleasures. Now, as I watch her frailty, I realize the greatest gift I can give is the same she gave me, presence. Not the busy, distracted visits of a hurried son, but the patient, wholehearted presence of someone who remembers that behind every wrinkle is a lifetime of stories, laughter, triumphs, and regrets. Finally, I've come to see that caring for her is not just my burden, it's my honor. It's a chance to give back a fraction of the love she poured into me. So yes, it's hard. Yes, it stretches me beyond what I ever imagined. But in those small moments when she grips my hand and smiles that crooked, incomplete smile, it feels like true grace. And if you who are reading this have the chance to care for an aging parent, I hope you will choose presence over convenience, compassion over indifference, and love over excuses. Because one day, the practitioner becomes the practiced, and we are all children in need of a hand to hold. Thank you for listening to our family story. If it resonates, please share it with someone who might need a reminder. Growing old is not a burden to carry alone, but a journey we can walk together.